My acts is premeditated, don't move with no hesitation. Adding up calculations to add to my mom's elation. I made it, no $1 million deal, but what's the deal is how I freak these funky beats and tell these people how I feel and how it is. I used to ease my pain by drinking beers and smoking blunts and eating lunch at McDonald's is how I started. Right. Mr. McPigtail.
Hey, thank you all for joining us for another episode of The Safe Space. Today I have Dr. Sherelle Williams, and she did something that was very interesting to me. I'm a Black male, and I'm a huge advocate of Black men, apparently, but she did her research on the success of Black men, and that really caught my attention. So thank you for joining us today. Could you please just give us an introduction and tell us a little bit about your research and who you are?
Hello. So I am Dr. Sherelle Williams. I'm a licensed professional counselor and a licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been licensed as a counselor / therapist for about the past 5 years, but it's been about 10. I've been in the game for about 10 years. I recently completed my PhD at the University of Holy Cross of New Orleans. And like Hasim said, my study was entitled The Experiences of Successful Black Men. So with that study, obviously it was the experiences of Black men who are quote unquote successful, but the way that I've defined success is not, it's not the typical way that most people would think to be successful. It wasn't, the highest degree, a terminal degree, a master's degree, a bachelor's degree. It was basically whether or not these people have been incarcerated, have or have not been incarcerated, whether or not these people are active fathers, if they have children, and if they have full-time employment. So I had to have some type of criteria to define success. So that's what I used. That was my definition of a successful Black man. But of course, that success is subjective, all of that good stuff.
Got you. So my first question is, what sparked your interest in this research topic? Because I think when we talk about success and we talk about Black men, we get kind of like a mixed review of that. If you're just watching the news, you don't really see too many stories about successful Black men. If you're not dribbling a ball, or if you're not rapping or dancing or something like that, we're typically not seen in the mainstream public. So what even sparked your interest about your research topic?
So initially, I was supposed to research. I was always going to research Black men. I don't know why, but here I am. But initially, I was supposed to research Black men who grew up in the homes with a single mother. But they also had a sister. I'm a product of a family with a single mom. I had an older brother, and I was the younger sister. So I'm sure y'all probably have heard the term mothers that love their sons but raise their daughters. So initially, I wanted to research that. But my dissertation methodologist, and I'll talk about what a methodologist is in a second, and also my committee member, they were like, we don't think this is gonna work. We don't think that Black men are gonna talk against their mothers, which that's not what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for Black men to talk against their mothers. So they changed my topic. And they changed it to, well, how about you just, research successful men? I think that's what you want to know. And so I was like, okay, that's true. Essentially, that is what I want to know. So it was so crazy because when I went to do the research, the journal websites and stuff like that you go on to kind of find like peer-reviewed articles, peer-reviewed journals. Literally, if you type in Black men, all things negative is gonna pop up. All things negative. Yeah. Deadbeat dads, HIV rates, criminal rates. This is not a negative thing. Gay, bisexual, undercover brothers. I was so overwhelmed by the amount of quote unquote negative things that popped up. I was like, I'm not doing this. I cannot contribute to the negative research of Black men. Like, why isn't anybody talking about anything that's positive? Why isn't that being talked about? We have a saturation of literature about the negative aspects, quote unquote, negative aspects of Black men. So I was like, I gotta be different. Whatever I put out will keep Black men in a positive light. So that's kind of how that topic developed.
Well, I just want to tell you, thank you for even considering, just the research topic in general, because like I said, it's so hard to find positive depictions of us, even when we read, it's hard to find those like peer review articles. So that's something that I've been looking for. I've been all through scouring JSTOR, scouring all those websites or hosts, whatever, the search engines, and you can't find anything, and I've been trying to find the correlation of just Black males' mental health and just how it evolves, and it's hardly anything. So my next question is, during your research, what barriers did you encounter when researching Black men?
So I love this question. This is a great question. I didn't encounter any barriers in regard to Black men. The barriers were the people, the folks' thoughts about Black men that were barriers. So when I first said that I wanted to research Black men, all right, my psychologist, she's a white woman, and she was like, yeah, no, I don't think that you should research Black men. If you want to graduate on time, you don't want to be here 4 years, you should probably pick another demographic to research. Talk. And I was like, I ain't never had no problem with Black men talking to me, and I was like, well, we have another student, and she really struggled, and it prolonged her time, and I just don't think that they're going to talk to you. I think that you should probably find another group. And I was like, no, I think I can do this. So that basically, it was a barrier, but it was also something that motivated me, because I've never had issues with speaking to Black men. To be honest, I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, to be 100% honest. But that was the only thing for me that came up. The men, they were great. I kind of talked about it offline, but they were great. I didn't have any issue with finding participants. I actually had 10 participants, and I had to stop them. I had to stop because they were like, okay, well, I got my little partner, I got this person, call my brother, my coworker, he want to talk about it too. Even when I went to their places of employment, just random Black men, they would be like, oh, she's completing her study on Black men. They're like, oh, I want to talk. Half of these people didn't even fit the criteria, but they wanted to share, like they wanted their time. So that was my only barrier, the people who had negative thoughts about Black men or about what the process would look like for me.
Yeah, and I think what we kind of discussed this a little bit last night. Once you gain the rapport and you gain the trust of Black men, we're going to open up. It's just that people don't typically meet us where we are, and they already come in with preconceived notions about what we're going to say, about what we're going to do, or what we're going to think. And that barrier, we've recognized that, and we just be quiet. We're not about to play that game. If you already come in and you think a certain way about us, well, guess what? We're going to allow you to keep thinking that way, and I'm not going to do anything to change your mind. So what did you find out through your research? Like, what was the goal of your research?
So the goal of my research, I wanted other Black men. I wanted little Black boys. I wanted mental health providers. I wanted mothers. I wanted wives. I wanted girlfriends, fiancés. I wanted everybody to understand the process that it takes for a Black man to become successful in the United States. That was my overall goal. Specifically for mental health providers. This is something that I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about this. This might be a little bit off topic, but I thought about post-traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, you don't see Black men diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. You see Black men diagnosed with things like, oh, he's angry, he's this, or he's this. It's never this man had a traumatic event. That's not the explanation that people typically give, right? So, what'd you say?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, so I feel like mental health providers need to understand Black men in a different way, because we're paying for it. You know what I mean? And if you know what's going on with me, I'm acting like I'm a Black man, then you know how to treat me. But if you just basically, judge me based off of, oh, I've been incarcerated, or, oh, well, I'm addicted to drugs, I'm this, you're not treating me properly. You know, Black men have an extremely unique experience in life. You know, there's one intersection, being Black, that's one thing, and being a man. That's a very unique intersection that I don't think is talked about. And I think that the experiences of Black men, it's minimized. It's minimized and it's just chalked off as, oh, he's just a problem. He's just a problem, as opposed to, you know, this woman who experienced this, she may have experienced some type of trauma, but she gets the benefit to being somebody struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. But a Black man, oh no, he's angry. Lock him up. Yeah. He's angry. So that was my issue with mental health providers, that I wanted them to know these are their experiences. And we can't take away their experiences. We need to treat them according to their experiences. And another thing that I'll say too is that I think it's about, my research talks about it, I think it's about 70% of children are being raised in the home with a single mother. Wow. You know, so it's like, how do I teach this mother how to make sure that her son leads a successful life? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a woman. I only have a limited, quote unquote, understanding of what it means to be a man. I'm not a man. I don't know what y'all experience, but I felt like exploring this would teach a mother the types of things that she can teach her son in order to be successful, the types of things that she should stray away from to make sure that her son is successful. When it comes to relationships, women, it comes to all of those things. I wanted all of those people to just have knowledge on the experiences of Black men and what they have to go through in order to reach a certain point.
Absolutely. So were there any common themes between your participants when they talked about their experiences? Yes.
So I pulled it up on the computer next. There's 8 themes that were developed. 6 or 8 themes. And I'm gonna share them really quickly. Let's see. So one of the first theme was gaining structure. And so basically that talked about somebody or someone who provided my participants with parameters in order to keep them aligned with their goals. You know, so that might have been a grandmother, like, oh no, boy, you stay here, don't go out there and talk to such and such and such. You got to get your homework done. That's what gaining structure was about. Mm-hmm. The next theme was overcoming adversity. The types of stressors that Black men will experience. Yeah. Intrinsic motivation. And that much talks about internal motivation. Like, what do you need to do for yourself to get to where you need to be? Mentorship. A lot of Black men grow up in the homes with family members. But some of those family members may be an uncle. Some of those family members, a male family member, may be a grandpa. So Black men learn what it means to be a man, not necessarily based off of their father, but it could be a coach. It could be, you know, a frat brother. I had a participant who talked about his frat brother and how his frat brother was really like a mentor and helped shape and guide him in those types of things. What else? Oh no. Countering negative stereotypes, the stereotypes that, you know, Black men experience. We kind of talked a little bit about that, and coping and adapting to misperceptions of being a Black man. And the next thing was environmental influences, maintaining an awareness of positive or negative affiliations with people. Like, who are you around? Who are you hanging with? What types of friends do you have? The 7th theme was family support. And that was it. So it was 7 themes. It was 7 themes and 1 sub-theme.
Next question is, I want to know, what did you find out about yourself during research? Because whenever you're doing research, you find out, you're researching the topic, you know, but you find out more about yourself, like whether that was biases or whether that was how much interest you had about this topic, or whether you found something new that you never even knew, you know, just in general, just or never even thought about. So what did you find out about yourself during your research?
How honest do you want me to be? So your space.
Hey, this is a safe space. So, I mean, anything that you talk about, we safe here. So say what you got to say.
Okay, so this is something that I've shared with all of my female friends, right? One thing that I learned about myself is that I'm too quick. I'm too quick to judge. I'm too quick to make some type of judgment call of what I think. You heard me, right? What I think, not what I know to be true. So several of my participants, I don't remember exactly all that they did, the types of employment, but I know that one was an attorney, one was like a millionaire, one was a former NFL player. They were all pretty successful, quote unquote, successful men. But the way that they spoke about themselves, I was like, oh, Lord, arrogant. I ain't trying to hear what you got. I literally thought, my initial thought was arrogant. But then as I allowed them to speak more, I recognized this isn't arrogance, this is confidence. And I wonder how many Black women experienced what I experienced. But the issue is how many Black women check themselves too. That's the thing. Like how many Black women are like, whoa, hold on, pump your brakes. Is this arrogance or is this confidence?
Yeah.
You know, make that.
I think in our community, it's a very thin line between confidence and arrogance from our perception. We don't give people an opportunity to even truly explain themselves and see if they're confident or not. I think any form of confidence is not looked upon favorably in our community. It's like you almost have to always be humble,
right?
Or you're not going to get the type of reception that you want from people. If you come in with any type of confidence, people automatically assume that you have an air about yourself and that you're better than what you think you are. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was my entire college experience. Now a lot of some stuff that I did in college, it was teetering the line, you know. But I think for most Black men, in order for us to be successful in this country and with everything that we have to deal with, we have to have that intrinsic motivation. Mm-hmm. You know, one person that I truly admire in the NBA was Kevin Garnett. Now, one thing about Kevin Garnett always talked trash, but he wasn't talking trash to the opponent in some of the cases. A lot of times he was talking trash to himself as a way to motivate himself. You know, so when you find Black men that's confident, that's trying to push themselves, trying to push others, it can really take people off guard. But a lot of times that's what we need in order to keep moving forward. Exactly. You know, because we're getting torn down every step of the way. Not only in the media, not only in the schoolhouse, not only at our jobs, not only in our family. It's like we don't go any place to really get that encouragement. There's no way that we can really have that. So we have to have it ourselves, but it's misconstrued many times, I think, as arrogance. So how did you even get to the point like that you said, man, I need to check myself on this? Like what was going on? Like what personal discovery did you have that say, hey, well, this is how are you able to differentiate? That's the better question. How are you able to differentiate arrogance from confidence?
Because I became a student. Because in those moments, I had to humble myself. You know, a lot of what I do, just even in the therapy room, is a lot of grounding myself. Like, okay, what are you experiencing right now? Are you listening? Are you truly listening? Are you listening with the intent to understand? Are you listening with the intent to respond? So I recognize that in those moments, I was not being a student. I was coming off, or I wanted to be an expert. So I forgot, and you'll be able to help me with this. I forgot which theory base this is, but it's a technique in one of the therapy modalities, and it talks about the one down stance. And I was like, why you can take a one down stance in a therapy room, but when you're sitting in front of a Black man, you like, no, hold on. What's up? What you say? No, that's not like that. You're not an expert on this man's life.
Absolutely.
So in that moment, I kind of just did some self-reflection and kind of went through my own thoughts. Like, why did you think that? Why did you think that? And of course they were speaking at that same time, but I was like, okay, come on, you got to check yourself. You're not an expert. You're a student. Listen to what this man has to say. And this is why many Black men feel the way that they feel, because people think that they're an expert, because people don't give them the opportunity to share their story, to be genuine, to be open, to be honest. And you said something earlier about humility, like, oh, a Black man gotta always be humble, but humble based off of whose standards? Based off of my standards or based off of your standards? Because your idea of humility may not be my idea of humility. And when I reflect back to many of my participants, they were very humble. Yeah. All of them were very humble. All of them were extremely relatable people. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me, you know.
So it sounds like it was just some of your biases.
My own.
And a lot of those biases, I mean, we just picked them up. You know, it could have came from your parents, it could have came from, you know, friends, it could have just came from the high school or college, wherever, you know, you were raised, but we pick up those biases. And oftentimes, even as therapists, we got to learn to check our biases, because we don't sometimes, you know, sometimes when you go into that room with that client and you're thinking what you read on this information sheet and what you see, like, you really got to check yourself. And ground yourself. So I'm so glad that you used that word. You really got to ground yourself before you engage in a conversation with any person. So for all the listeners out there, for all the therapists, for all the clinicians, just for all the mothers, for all the fathers, for all the teachers, all the educators, tell me, what's the best way to get to understand the Black man's plight?
I think being a student. I will repeat that. You know, when I graduated with my master's degree in 2012, they said, you all are now experts at marriage and family therapy. Technically, you can say, hey, I'm an expert now. When I graduated with my PhD, my dissertation methodologist, she was like, you are now an expert at successful Black men. I disagree 100%. I'm never an expert at somebody else's life. And I think that when you approach somebody with that stance of I am an expert, you miss so many intricate details. You miss so much because of what you think or what you believe, what you feel like things should happen. And you can only understand a person based off of your own frame of reference. So if I'm coming in, you know, if I'm approaching somebody based off of my own life experiences or based off of what I believe, I'm not getting the fullness of that person. So I think that professionals, family members, wives, fiancés, girlfriends, what I would say is just listen, be there, be a student. He will teach you. He will teach you. And most men are straight shooters. Most women, see, we talk around. Men don't speak like that. Men speak like straight. You ask them a question, they typically answer the question. But the question for you is, are you listening?
Wow. Ooh, that's it. Hey, the question for you is, are you listening? Okay, that's that gem. Make sure y'all follow Dr. Sherelle Williams. I'm not going to put no disrespect on your name. It's Dr. Sherelle Williams. We got her on Instagram at Eden Roots Therapy. So make sure you follow this doctor, because she has all type of information, game, knowledge, and she's here to support you. You know, she's not here to support just Black men. She's supporting Black women too. She is a Black woman, and she of course is well studied, well educated, but she truly cares about her community. Now we're going to jump off the subject just a little bit. This is one question I have to ask everybody whenever you come on the show, is being Black in America. What is being Black in America for you right now?
Being Black in America for me, this is a very interesting thing. So this is something that I speak to my own therapist about. Like I said, I just recently got my PhD. I'll be honest, one thing that I struggle with as a Black woman is imposter syndrome. To be honest, I just started asserting Dr. Sherelle Williams. I just started that maybe like 3 months ago. And it's been a year. So being Black in America is trying to understand my place and trying to be okay with my place too. Simply because a lot of the experiences that I've had with family members, with friends, high school people that I went to high school with, sometimes it's not okay to be where I'm at. Sometimes it ain't okay to have a PhD or to be a well-educated woman. Sometimes it's not okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure that I am who I am, and that's enough for me. Because that's a lot for others. That's scary for another group of people. You know what I mean? So it's me being genuine to myself.
And I will let everybody know, before this recording, I said, hey, man, I got to put doctor in front of your name. People got to know that you're a full doctor out here, man. I'm so proud of you. So Dr. Sherelle Williams and I, we attended Northwestern State University. And it's just so amazing just to see her growth and progression in her profession. So I got one more question for you before we get out of here. I'm big on self-care. I'm big on Black men and Black people just trying to take care of themselves. So I want to know, how are you self-caring this week?
So this week, one thing that I've definitely done was I went outside and I walked for the intention of just being outside, just being one with nature. A lot of Black people are vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D deficiencies can cause depression, can cause anxiety and those things. So I was like, look, I'm going outside, I'm going to give me some vitamin D. I put on some of my favorite songs. I wasn't walking with the intention of exercising. I was walking with the intention of just being present and reflecting. So that's one of my self-care tools, getting that vitamin D, being outside and being present. Because a lot of the times as a therapist, I don't really get an opportunity to deal with what I need to deal with because I'm dealing with everybody else's stuff. So I was super intentional about that definitely this week. That's funny that you asked that.
So listen to what she said. She said, first of all, she went outside with the intention of just getting some sunlight. Mm-hmm. Just getting some sunlight. She wanted to become one with nature. But the key word that she used was intentional. And that's something that I think we all have to make sure that we're implementing in our daily routine, is to be intentional with taking self-care serious, because we just don't take it serious. So another thing she also mentioned is that she talks to a therapist. Now, this is a whole doctor, a doctor with mental health experience, mental health background, and she goes to a therapist. So no one is above reproach. We all need to have somebody that can hold us accountable for what we're doing, what we're thinking, and what we're saying. So Dr. Sherelle Williams, I just want to tell you, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Thank you for all the you do protecting my brothers. Thank you for that. That's important to me. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. But thank you for joining us. I look forward to just seeing your growth. Hey, now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do this on camera. She's going to be starting a YouTube channel. She's going to be starting a podcast. All these things are coming from Dr. Sherelle Williams. So I want you all to stay on her. Go like, go share, go follow her page, go click on it, go ask her when is the YouTube dropping, when is the podcast dropping. I'm going to be on her about it as well. The world needs to hear you, Dr. Williams. The world needs to hear you. The world needs to hear you. The world needs to hear you, because you have so many valuable gems to give us. And we can use these gems to make it through our day. So you all, this concludes this portion of the safe space. Before we get out of here, Dr. Sherelle Williams, can you please let us know how we can follow you, how we can contact you, how we can get in touch with you if we need to speak?
Yes, so y'all can follow me on my Instagram page. I don't have followers right now, y'all. Please follow me. I just made it yesterday. So it's Eden Roots on Instagram. Eden Roots Therapy on Instagram, and you can also email me at edenroots@gmail.com. edenrootstherapy@gmail.com. I don't even know my own stuff. That's sad. So yeah, hit me up.
edenrootstherapy@gmail.com. Thank you.